Welcome to AstroEnergy with astrologer angel Shelley Overton. Hello and welcome to 2018. My name is Shelley Overton and I am an astrologer in Orlando, Florida. And you are listening to the AstroEnergy Astrology Show for January 2nd, 2018. We're all here together. Can you even believe it? It's exciting. It's thrilling. I have a wonderful feeling about this year. And, it did come in with a bit of chill. I'm not going to kid you. I'm sitting here freezing in Orlando. It is, oh my gosh, 47 degrees. So I haven't felt cold like this since I lived in Colorado, actually maybe Tennessee. But my daughter just got back from Michigan last night, where it was 11, and she has been experiencing sub-zero wind chill factors. So she always wanted to see snow as an older child, and she finally got to see snow. And I can't wait to see her. I haven't even seen her yet. She was just gone for the weekend. But she's back in town, and cold temperatures are still there, but it's colder in Orlando, but it's warmer up in Michigan where she was. So I know all of you across the most of the U.S. have been experiencing things, but it's the nature of Capricorn. We have Saturn in Capricorn now, so of course it's going to put us in a deep freeze. Remember, Frozen came up when Pluto went into Capricorn. So it's chilly. Anyway, I have a lot to talk about on the show, and honestly, I keep getting ready for this show. I do my research, I write down my notes, and I never feel like I have everything that I need. Unfortunately, it's probably a Virgo perfectionistic thing. But what I did in the 2 hours before the show, I have my new daily planner. See, you can hear it right there. I'm very excited because I'm a visual person. I'm an artist, and I'm also a Virgo, which means I like tangible things. So I like to see the year laid out in front of me. I like to have the graph that comes with this. If you're wondering what this is, the Llewellyn's 2018 Daily Planetary Guide, and I get it every year. I just started buying it maybe 15 or 20 years ago. I've gotten one for every year, and I keep them. I don't know why. Probably because it's like a diary in a way, astrological diary for me. So before we start all this, I am going to preface this with I am giving you kind of an overview. Each of the signs gets an overview of their year. I don't tell you specifically every month by month what's going on. It's not because I don't want to. It's just that I have time limits on the show, and I'm giving you kind of the best overview I can give for each sign. If you listen to the show, you know that I have a lot of information that comes through, and I could literally talk to hours on each sign. So I'm just doing the best I can. I want to give you all insights into the coming year for each of your signs. But also keep in mind that not only is it the sun sign that affects you when you read a horoscope or learn information, it's all the other planets in your individual chart, which is always why it's a good reason to consult an astrologer and get a full reading if you want to know more specifics about what is coming into your world and how the dynamics of your chart interact with the transits. And the transits mean the planets go through the sky at any given moment. So with that, I am going to kind of zoom through the ephemeris, or not the ephemeris, excuse me, my planetary guide, because I spent an hour and a half writing down notes for the coming year, and I do want to touch on some of the bigger dates, which I did last week, but I'm not going to run out of time today. I may or may not get to calls. I'm just letting you know. I might take one or two at the end just because this is going to take a lot. And I'm going to fly through because there were a few dates that stuck out when I went through the calendar. And what would make a date stick out to me is not just a transit of a large planet to another large planet per se, but when it affects multiple days or multiple aspects on that day are seen where it's like, wow, this is going to be a phenomenal time. And so I'm just going to give you, it's really going to be very quick because I'm flying through the first month, January, February. I think we are getting used to this new energy with Saturn and Capricorn. The weather is part of it. It is the earth energy. It is a chilling or cooling off. So we have 2 years of pretty chilly temperatures. I'm not saying it's going to stay like this all the time, of course, but we are going to see probably lower than normal temperatures for the course of the next 2 years. And I wouldn't be surprised if we have a particularly harsh winter or time when Saturn joins up with Pluto in a couple of years. So anyway, we've got really the big event of the year, in my view, is May 15th, or actually May 13th through the 15th. So I'm going to be talking a lot about that on this show probably with each sign, and I'm also going to be talking about it over the next 5 or 6 months because it is a very large shift. Granted, Uranus goes retrograde and direct every year, and it will again this year also. So we are not done with Uranus and Aries energy, but we are finishing up that energy. And then Uranus, I'm actually going to back up here. I think it was the 13th. 13th is one of those days I really highlight. Not only that, I have a yellow highlight all over the spread for May 7th through the 13th, which is the whole week coming up on it. So I'm going to touch on that one, and then I'm going to go a little bit farther in the year, and then I'm going to start with every sign. So in May 7th, we have Mercury squaring Pluto. So that's kind of a daily significance, but overall, because Venus is going into Gemini for the month of May, and Venus is squared to Neptune on the 7th, and Mercury, which rules Gemini, and Venus is in Gemini, Mercury rules Gemini, is in Aries, and it's squaring Pluto on the 7th. So those two aspects are very strong energy again, and this whole coming year is going to be a really big year around not only female energy and really shifting how we look at our roles as gender roles, more so than, say, the last decade with the LGBTQ energy coming in. But this is really more specifically male versus female and what we're doing about it. And so having Mercury in Aries is mindset and mentality around our male energy and expressing that, and it's squaring Pluto in Capricorn, which is a very powerful energy, but also it is the energy of feminine qualities. So we've also got Venus in Gemini, so of course her ruler's in Aries. So Venus feminine and Aries connection is masculine. So having Venus squaring Neptune on the 7th and Mercury in Aries squaring Pluto in a feminine sign on the 7th, this is a really strong interpersonal transit, meaning we're relating to one-on-one. This is our children, this is our spouse or our mother or father, sister, people that are in and it has to do with self-interest, which is Mercury and Aries. So it starts out that way that week, and we have Moon going into Aquarius, again, detachment, male energy, power energy. He's going to trine Venus, he's going to square the Sun in Taurus, and the Moon, Luna, and the Moon is going to be Jupiter in Scorpio, also all on the 7th. So it starts out that way, and we're bringing in a lot of unexpected energy, power dynamics. Speaking your mind. So Mercury in Aries is about taking action on your thoughts or wanting to take physical action on your thoughts, but being restricted with the authority or the government or the rules that authority sets up. It's outside of you and some other entity. And then Venus in Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces. So this is an air energy squaring a water energy, and a receptive Venus wanting to be more analytical and thinking, squaring that water Pisces energy. So we're going to have probably, I would guess, also a storm on that day because we have air squaring water. So that just always combines to be friction in weather. It's about the sense of as we express it, the thought, versus the emotions of it, the desire of it, and not being in alignment with that. So what happens in our lives is we're trying to get somewhere, but we're meeting with resistance from maybe a dynamic of the collective thinking, which is Neptune in Pisces and Pluto in Capricorn. Okay, so that being said, we're moving on to the middle of that week, which is Venus in conjunct Jupiter, and Venus again in Gemini in conjunct Jupiter. When there are inconjuncts, I personally have been saying this for a couple months, but inconjuncts to me are the most difficult, stressful aspect because there's just no cooperation. And it seems like the inconjuncts really bring out the worst. And it is not going to be a year of just worse. I mean, last year I was looking like, man, there's a lot of negativity. This year has a lot of positivity speckled in with some of the more stressful aspects. So it is going to be a mixed bag, which is probably a better way to say it than a roller coaster, although it will be a roller coaster too. So I guess if I had any advice to give you at the beginning of the year, it would be, first off, ground. Picture those roots going down into the ground, sending the negative energy down, because it's going to be electrical, it's going to be air energy, it's going to be water energy, and it's going to be earth energy. Fire is there, but not as much this year. So it's going to be more emotional, more mental, and kind of a battle between those two entities. So it is a masculine, feminine. Feminine is the emotion. Masculine can be more mental. Okay, so on the 9th of May, we have this stress aspect between desire, which is female receptive energy in Gemini, wanting to be on top of it analytically and say, no, this is the way it is, this is the way I see it based on how I'm thinking, versus Jupiter in Scorpio, which is very emotional, but also not wanting to really stick around and continue the discussion. So it can be a little bit frustrating conversationally. As the end of that first week comes in, we have Mercury in Aries conjunct Uranus in Aries. So this is a very big aspect around male energy, power energy, and electronics, tech, anything like that is air electronic. So I guess I don't know how to express this strongly enough. This is a really big energy. So this energy, because Uranus rules the masses, it rules the internet, and it's joining up with Mercury, which is technology, computers, thought, communication, phones, everything that is the hardware, along with the idea of the collective mindset coming in. So they're joining up on that day, on the 13th. And it's in Aries. Both are in Aries. So, and degrees of Aries. So we're wrapping up the story around how the mindset is expressed through male energy. And it's not like, oh, men are, on the way out, they have no say. That's not what it is. It's a collective awakening of the male energy and what to do with it. How do we express this aggression and the assertive qualities of the male in a new way? And the new way is going to be explored in the next 8 years, and that is Taurus. That is the feminine receptive. So we're really getting out a lot of the frustration, a lot of the anger, angst that we feel in an aggressive manner, like, whatever events are in our lives are going to be coming up around power and expression. And do I have any ability to act on what I want to act on? Mercury enters Taurus on the 13th. This is significant because Uranus, of course, they're conjunct. Mercury enters Taurus first, and then Uranus 2 days later enters Taurus. So Mercury is awakening us throughout the course of this week, the week before, with the Aries energy, and then initially he's going in first. So we're going to see this mindset build around money and desire, love, the tangible qualities of our relationships, because that's what Venus rules in Taurus is, am I in a relationship? Am I in the right relationship? What am I doing with this relationship? Where is the money? Where's the value? Is this valuable in tangible terms? Currencies, material goods, retail, things like that. So Mercury kicks us off of this mindset, and then we'll have definitely look for computer glitches, or when Mercury goes into Taurus, it's just the beginning of the universe basically showing us that this is the new energy for the next 8 years, with the codicil that there is a brief retrograde back into Aries throughout the year. And so we're going to I feel it. And then on the 15th, we have Uranus moving in on a new moon. The new moon is in Taurus at 24. So, I mean, it's, it's just so much. I'm going to read you the aspects. Moon in Taurus trine Pluto in Capricorn. Moon in Taurus conjunct the Sun in Taurus. Uranus goes into Taurus. Moon in Taurus trine Mars in Capricorn, another Earth sign. And then Moon goes into Gemini, so back into the Mercury energy, which just moved into Taurus. And then Moon in Gemini, what the heck? My computer just went black. Sorry. When I talk about Mercury, Mercury always lets me know he's there. Okay, Mercury sextile Chiron in Aries, which is a positive energy around resolving some analysis of our wounding. And then Mars moves into Aquarius, which of course is by Uranus, now in Taurus the very same day. So tremendous power around power, electronics, technology, lightning, storms, anything with power that relates to electricity. Amazing, amazing day. Okay, I know I've talked a lot about this in the past, so I'm going to race through because I don't want to give anybody short change on their sun sign. On June 18th, Neptune goes retrograde, so that can be a strong bringing in, especially with the Earth energy now. I would say that is the energy of drought. So look for more dry weather coming, but of course Neptune retrograde is always something related to the amount of water that's in the area, so it can be one area, drought in another, but because of the Earth energy, it's going to be probably more focused on drought. I know back in the 1920s, I didn't look the exact information, but that was another Uranus and Taurus time. I think it might have been up in mid-30s as well. So, that was a big drought. The Dust Bowl happened then. So, with this now stronger Earth, I think the next couple of years could be a little bit drier and colder. Okay, and then there's one last aspect I saw in here that, well, there are a couple actually. August is going to be pretty big with Uranus going retrograde on the 7th. And so, of course, that again relates to money, what's expected. And then the next week on the 18th, there are 2 days, really good positive aspects. And 2 days in a row are the 18th and 19th, and we have Mercury sextile Venus, and that is Mercury in Leo, which is a really wonderful risk-taking energy, sextile Venus in Libra. So, of course, if you are these sun signs, you're going to have some really positive energy coming into your world. Also, fire signs and air signs. Again, this is kind of like, wow, last year was so hard for fire and air, but this year, especially the 18th and 19th of August, are going to be really good for the fire air signs. So that's Leo, Sagittarius, and I'm missing one, Aries. And so Moon moves into Sagittarius. Again, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So Moon into Jupiter sign is another fortunate energy. And Mercury goes direct on that day. So Mercury into going direct, that's Pacific. Eastern on the 19th, we have Mercury going direct at 12:25 in the morning for Pacific. Then Jupiter sextiles Neptune, which is like fortune and dreams coming true. So, and it's all in water energy, Scorpio, Neptune. This is, I have so many chills. Like, even though Leo squares Scorpio, this is a really positive energy with all this, all the combinations of trines and positivity, but we've got Moon in Sagittarius trining Mercury in Leo. We have Moon trining Venus in Libra. That's love, that's romance, it's money, it's positive mindset. But it ends with a Moon squaring Neptune, which can mean that there is some type of travel or ending around female energy. And I want to caution the end not to be overly optimistic at the very end, but definitely the 18th is a really positive day. And let me see if there are any other days I highlighted for the rest of this year. This is a continuation of last week's show for the overall. But okay, I've got all these highlighted. I've written in pink on this thing. My beautiful, clean, brand new guide is no longer fresh and clean. So I moved into it, so to speak. But anyway, okay, I've got so many papers here to try and sort through. I've got notes on things, I've got planners. And so we're going to start out with Aries, because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac in Western astrology. So this year for Aries, we're going to have, okay, so what I did, I'm just going to qualify it a little bit. What I did was I took the planet that pretty much goes signs over a month, and I started out that. So Mercury is the planet that pretty much touches all of us in a year, besides the sun, besides the moon, because the sun goes through every sign also in a month. And I think you all know your own individual sun signs. So your own sun month, of course, the sun is in your sign. It is going to light up your ego, your sense of self. You're going to feel a little bit more on your game. You're going to feel like the energies are supportive of you in your birth month because of the sun. And then moon goes into every sign in the course of a month. So for the 30 days that the moon transits a sign, it goes in 2.5 days in every single sign. So that will also affect us very quickly. But in the course of a year, Mercury goes through every sign, but Mercury also has retrogrades, and these tend to be the interpersonal planet, or this tends to be the interpersonal planet that really affects probably more specifically to our mindset and where we're coming from in the course of a year. Of course, I've added the other signs and planets, but like I said, I only have so much time today. So, okay, so Aries, Mercury is in your sign from March 7th through the 23rd of May. This is a pretty big one because there are, let me see real quick here. There are 3 Mercury retrogrades this year, and the first one happens in Aries. So it happens starting the March 23rd, and it gets back out of Aries May 14th. So from March 7th through May 14th, 2 full months you have this energy in your sign. So that's going to be a really big month around mindset. Well, I'll say March, April, and May will be really big time for renovating what you're doing with regard to actions taken around business. And I want to say this because Uranus has been in your sign for the last 8 years. And of course, like I said, he's wrapping up his time in Aries. So with Mercury, which is a lesser vibration of the same energy of Uranus, it is more the interpersonal vibration of electronic energy and mental energy stimulation. Going retrograde in Mars in Aries. See, my mind works so that the planet and the sign are so enmeshed in archetypes that sometimes I say the sign instead of the planet and vice versa. Anyway, Aries is going to be about taking the action, and with Mercury, thought processes around taking the action. Having Mercury in Aries is going to be acting before we think. That's what it does. So when it goes retrograde, we're going to see the results of how we've acted without truly thinking and seeing the repercussions of that action. So the month of April, May, and March, half of March, will be about reviewing the actions you've taken from the beginning of the year, and probably more specifically the end of February and the beginning of March, which is that shadow period. So you're going to see that. You're going to be going back over those. And in the first house, because Aries rules the first house, it's about self. You're going to be thinking about yourself, and you can be a little bit unaware of others. That's the polite way to put it. But, brash and driven, really, and very success-oriented. That's a wonderful aspect, a wonderful energy around Aries. Because Aries is also, again, rules emergencies, blood, for blood issues in those months, head issues. Aries is ram. You could, Mercury, especially Mercury, is about accidents. So I would be even extra cautious with helmets. Don't lead with your head, which is kind of what Mercury is about the head, and Aries is about the head. So you're going to lead with your head, but be extra cautious because Mercury retrograde can mean potential for, and especially Aries energy. I'm going to tell you, I live out in the country, and there's a lot of male Aries energy. I don't know if it's specifically Aries, but it's definitely male energy around me. There's every type of fun motorbike and vehicle and guns and everything. Like, this country is very male. So those things are under this energy. And for other fire signs, it's true too. So when the planets are trining the fire signs, or any sign in your element, any planet goes through your element, it's going to be affecting you. So even though it's Aries, the Sagittarians are going to be affected and the Leos are going to be affected, but maybe in a more positive way, with the exception of the retrogrades. So that means a heads up for Aries and Leo as well at this time. So enough about that. Anyway, when it goes direct, you'll get back on track. You'll be able to, you're going to feel probably a bit more like you're not able to really do what you want to do during that retrograde period. And that's just the hazard of a retrograde planet. Then Uranus, of course, goes into a new sign, from Aries into Taurus, and that rules your house of money. So out of all the signs, this is where your money is affected. And I would say, if you haven't looked into cryptocurrency or haven't gotten that business up and running, this is when it's going to happen. This year, you are going to be up to your knees until Uranus goes retrograde back into Aries later on in the year. Okay, so I'm going to tell you when that is, because, everybody wants to know when these things happen. So the beginning of August, I think I said when Uranus goes retrograde, the beginning of August into the middle of January next year, Uranus will be retrograde. And actually, that didn't tell me when it goes into Aries. Let me tell you, or back into Aries. I hope I'm not speaking too fast for you. I apologize. I know I do tend to really speak fast. So Uranus goes November 8th back into Aries, and we'll be there through the end of the year. And I can even tell you it goes back. I've got my cameras because I'm nothing if not thorough, but a bit scattered. I admit it. Sometimes I can be scattered, only because I have a lot of Aquarius energy in the chart. And that means that I have stuff coming at me from every direction. Okay, so March of 2019, on the 5th of March, Uranus goes back into Taurus. We'll be back there for 80 more years. So back into Taurus, won't be back in Aries, excuse me. I would say 72 years, because it'll go back in. It started 8 years ago. I hope I'm not being too confusing. I know it's so much, and I really want to tell you succinctly what's going on. Anyway, okay, so we're going to get a little bit faster, or at least maybe more synopsized and less detail-minded here. So money, cryptocurrencies, this is your year for investment, Aries. It's your year for being able to open up to other energies, other ideas. You're being really inventive around retail. So Aries are the ultimate salespeople. So Uranus going into your house of money means making money from retail, making money from inventions, which are really awesome for you. Joint money, Jupiter is in your house of joint finances. So, of course, that means money there as well, which is awesome. And foreign, I'm looking for my my chart here that tells me my wheel of planets, my wheel of signs. So money together, foreign currency, foreign investments. Again, Jupiter retrograding. You should see me. I've got two charts in my hand, a book in my left hand. I've got all sorts. I've got a wheel up on the computer. So what I'm looking at for here is Jupiter retrograding. The months it retrogrades will be a pulling back of that energy. So second week of March through the middle of July, you're going to go back over your finances and maybe not be quite as optimistic. Jupiter retrogrades and act more like Saturn. So that time frame, June through August, also Mars retrogrades. So you're going to have a pulling back of the energy around your drive or your sales. It's just the middle of the year. And so, after August, it's going to get better for you. Again, it's just the middle of the year where you feel probably a little more frustrated about sales. And you might look into, especially with Uranus, Uranus, which means multiples of something in your house of money. It's a year for multiple lots of money, multiple currencies coming in from different sources. So, sorry if, you know what, as I talk to callers in the upcoming shows, will have a little bit more fleshed out energy for signs because I have different sun signs that I can go over more. But yeah, this year for you, Aries, look to all the fire energy, what's going on with the fire energy and Mars, Sun, Jupiter. Those are the planets that will influence you most this year, especially when they're retrograding, because they're, and Uranus, of course. Okay, Taurus. Heck, Taurus, if you can't figure it out now, it is your year for money and change around your money. So having Taurus, sun sign, rising sign, any planet Taurus. I have Jupiter in Taurus, so but late Taurus, so we're not going to see that probably for quite a few years. But anyway, we've got Uranus going through your first house, and that means now it is out of your 12th house. So you've had so many ideas on what to do. Again, self-promotion, retail, all the things that Uranus and Aries brought. Now it's coming out into your first house. Now you're actually able to show your amazing ability with money, and you really do have a genius energy coming through for you. So now is the time to really get out there and do something about your ideas. You've had, like I said, Uranus in the 12th house. It'll be there again, still for the 4 months. So the first 4 months of the year, wrapping up stories around subliminal masculine energy. I know that's really vague, but everything I list from male energies, it's about being able to take action and express yourself. Taurus generally is a very staid and solid energy, and Uranus is going to really shake your roots up this year. You're going to find that you're tired of being the one who always takes their time, and you're going to be a little bit more impatient this year. Uranus does not waste time. They get so much information coming in that you're going to have to pick up the pace a little bit. That's what Uranus will do for you for the next 8 years. And this year is not going to be different. Your Mercury is there, or Mercury in Taurus, I should say, is there starting May 13th. It goes really quickly because May 30th, it moves into Gemini. So May 30th means that when Mercury moves into Gemini, that's when you're going to start to find more of the ideas are going to be expressed out into the world because Gemini is communications. It's in your second house of money. So the money going out into the world, what is it around? It's around education. You have Gemini in the second house, which means educational issues and earning money from education is going to be heightened in the second half of May. It is about Venus is about women all year long, and I want to say you have Venus and Gemini. I just did this toward the end of the year. Let me look real quick here for you. Yeah, not even got that wrong. The 25th of April through the 20th of May. So you're going to have a lot of spring energy around money and action in that regard, but it's very electrical. So technology stocks, writing, communications, journaling, anything that gets your voice heard. And also, I didn't mention this before. I don't mention it very often, but physically, Taurus rules the throat. And of course, Gemini rules communication. So the combination of the two in the year are going to bring out more issues around the throat, not getting your voice heard or speaking up, either or, depending on whether Mercury is direct or retrograde. But definitely stop going to sleep, computer. And it is about computers. It's about, technology, including technology and money in bringing in an income and tech. So that's part of your year. Retrograde Venus, I have it here. October through mid-November, that's going to affect you. And even though it's not an earth sign, Libra will also be affected by this. Venus retrograde rules Libra. So Librans, October through November, you're going to feel a little bit stopped up and not really getting your desires met. Although you will have love this year, and Jupiter in Libra, it'll be a continuation of that energy with the Venus in Libra, or excuse me, Venus in Taurus and Gemini this year for you. So let me just give you a specific time for that. Okay, so again, May is a good time for love, and actually look for multiple partners. Gemini is multiples. I would give you a heads up that, it is duplicity. It means there's multiple stories, multiple words, multiple points of view being expressed. So, it's going to be a lot of fun energy. Gemini is really lively and expressive, but it's not going to be necessarily something that you count on. So just be aware of that. And also, again, I recommend you listen for the next month or two, because people calling in will also bring out more energy around your specific sign. And if you want a reading, please do get in touch with me, because then we can really dig in deep, because, I always have a lot of stuff to fix up for these readings. So, okay, and then Gemini. Gemini, you have your 12th house. Uranus is moving into your 12th house. So it has been in your 11th house, which is friendships and people associated with your work environment. So that means that you're going to have the psychological subliminal issues come up. It's going to be about money, but it's going to be about the intuition and the knowingness. Out of all the signs, Gemini really is going to be on top of hitting the trend before it happens with money and finances. Also, it is about digging deeper into love issues, and because of the 12th house connection, you may not realize this, but, well, actually, Gemini on the first house, you probably do. You're a little bit more into people who are unique or intellectual or eccentric. So you might have someone coming in who is like a soulmate, but being in the 12th house, it could also bring someone up from your past. So look for that. Let me see here. I'm also getting Jupiter is going through your house of work, which means an expansion around wanting to do something that you're very passionate about and you're really connected into. Taurus, I got to say, Jupiter going into your house of marriage and partnership, definitely being passionate about getting married and having a love or someone that really you connect into. I wanted to mention that because love, money, isn't this all what everybody wants to know? Okay, so Gemini, it's about work, Jupiter in your work house, and that's your value work. Are you able to express your intuitive side, your emotional side? Are you connecting in and doing what you truly love? And it's about integrity in the workplace. So you're going to have those issues come up this year. And then, of course, Pluto has been moving through your 8th house, so that's been a little bit hard. Pluto Capricorn is basically the elderly moving on, transitioning to another realm, and that in your 8th house may mean that you've gone through lost someone close to you. Over the last few years, it's been kind of a back and forth, having to deal with loss and then also understanding. It's about the psychology of loss. It's about getting a stronger understanding of how to move on and what the value of the life was, and really the process of dying and moving on and transitioning. With Saturn moving into your 8th house, that can also mean that now is the time to really own what you believe and own what you feel about your partner. It could mean there's a transition coming around partner, meaning, the physical, tangible of relationship, but it could also mean that now is a time that you're going to get finally your ducks in a row with money and finances from other sources. And let's see if there's anything else I can say for Gemini. Honestly, because this is my nature, is to go into the great detail, but we just don't have time. So I'm going to have to really shift it to more intuitive read for you all and give you the eyeball of the planets in each of your signs. It's just going to have to be the way it is, because I'm very optimistic that I can get him much more than I can. So Cancer. All right, let's just look at what we have for Cancer here, and then we can go into that a little bit more. So again, Cancer is the moon. And so you're going to feel shifts and changes, as you always do, more on a daily basis as opposed to the month or the year. You are feeling this Pluto, Saturn, and Capricorn energy strongly because it opposes your natal sun sign. So what it has been doing for you has been waking you up to the psychology of where your fears are around career, around getting going with your career. And Saturn, of course, in the sign of Capricorn for you, it falls in your house of marriage and partnership. So it may mean that it does mean that you're going to be shoring up the physical relationship. You're taking too much responsibility for the other person and for their issues. And that's, Cancer is a sign of the nurturer. Capricorn isn't as good with nurturing because they're about the career, the life purpose, getting stuff done in a tangible sense, bringing home the bacon. So it is about, do you have a partner who's financially contributing to the welfare of the relationship? And I shouldn't say financial, it's not just financial, but psychologically really too. You are really shifting and changing how you think about things. And traditionally, it may be that you are a traditional partner, you do the cooking and cleaning and they bring home the bacon or whatever. But this is an energy where you may want to start doing more of the work around, like bringing home the money. Saturn is career. You are looking where that shifts and changes with your partner, that maybe the dynamic is tipping the other way, and you're going to be the one to go find a way to bring in the money. Okay, let's see what else we have for you. So Jupiter for you is in positive aspect to your sun, and it falls in your house of romance and children and creativity, and it's about passion and value. So are you doing something that you find valuable in that realm? I mean, do you have the romance that you want? Do you have the depth of the relationship? Having Capricorn in your house of marriage and partnership may bring out, again, it's a chilling issue, a chilling energy. So it could cool your relationship down. And Scorpio, and Jupiter specifically in Scorpio, wants to heat it up. So you're finding that your romantic life needs to be heated up. You need to find that passion again. And let's see what we have for Mercury for you. And Mercury is in your sign from June 13th through the 29th. So that means that you're going to want to spend more time around the home. And honestly, that is really close to the country's birth, of course. So it is the sun sign of Cancer. Sun's going to be in your sign. Mercury is going to be in your sign. So that's when you're really able to express your emotional side, your sentimental side, and the nurturing side through baking. Don't forget, you are a domestic sign. I do want to say, let me see here. I'm just trying to figure this out. Jupiter through your fifth house. This could also mean an expansion of family, children. If you're looking to have kids this year, this is going to be an energy where you really have some opportunity. And this is a little person who, if you do it soon, because, of course, Jupiter goes into Sagittarius next year, or this year, oh my gosh, November of this year. So if you have a baby before Jupiter goes into Sagittarius, that child is going to be very connected in a strong sense to you. So yeah, there's a really strong possibility of children coming if you're of childbearing age. So look out for that. And also, Mercury in your sign, or actually Mercury in Scorpio, which, let's find out when Mercury is in Scorpio. That could be an unexpected blessed event, so to speak. So Mercury is going to be in Scorpio for the month of October. And from the 11th through the end of the month. So if you're looking to conceive, even conception would be good in that time for you. Okay, let's see what time we have. We've got 15 minutes to make it through 8 more signs. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, so we've got Leo. Now, Leo squares Scorpio Jupiter. So again, I've observed that Leo squaring Scorpio tends to bring fraud aspect. And I did go through my my planetary guide, and not that this is specifically aimed at Leo, but this this can affect you. So be on the lookout for it. And it's August 28th is one of them. And I think I wrote it in here multiple times. Oh yeah, here's another one. July 9th is a possible fraud alert. So what that means is the planets align in square, Leo to Scorpio, and it means that our trusting nature, which, believe it or not, is Scorpio, can be at odds with Leo's ability for storytelling. That is not, pointing a finger, but what it is people who want to cause harm to you are going to be more around. It's just like an energy that attracts that kind of duplicitous or difficult energy. Okay, so those are the 2 dates I have off the top of my head here. But anyway, so Leo, Okay, so again, just be aware that Scorpio it's in your house of home and family. So you're going to be having difficulty with that area only because it's a square. And this also goes for Aquarius, oppositions with Taurus to family. But Leo and Jupiter, the Leo sun rising, any of that, it's going to fall in your house and family. So that's where you're going to be probably having more conflict. And what it is you just want to connect in. And even though, and this is the interesting paradox, is that Leo does want to connect in and relate to other people very strongly and deeply, one-on-one. So does Scorpio. Scorpio wants to merge with you pretty much. And Leo wants to be in charge of things, not necessarily merge. So that's probably where, Leo wants to be the center of it, and both signs can be very dramatic. So I find it really interesting. They actually have a lot in common, but they do square each other. So what Leo does is Leo creates fire, and Scorpio puts water on it. So Jupiter is a fire energy. It wants to take action, as does Leo. So there is this probably the restriction energy coming into the home, and you want to express more. You want to be out there and doing your own thing, but Jupiter's saying, no, you got to be around your family, and you want to dig deep in ways that you probably don't want to dig into. You want to just enjoy your time together. But Scorpio, again, most of the year is going to be affecting you there. Pluto in work. So this is a big year for you for work. And again, I think Leo's probably going to have a little bit more of a difficult year because of that square with Jupiter, and because Pluto, Saturn are in conjunct to your energy. And that means that they are 150 degrees apart. And so, in my definition of in conjunct, it's just easier, honestly. So what happens is Pluto and Saturn are kind of triggering that. The authority energy is coming in, and bosses. You're going to have issues with bosses. You can have probably issues with women. Leo energy tends to be a bit flirtatious, not going to lie. I have Venus in Leo. I completely get you. But yeah, Leo can be, what they do is they put out the energy. They walk into a room and they say, hey, I'm here. The party can begin. And Pluto and Capricorn are like, you're taking all the attention. Could you please settle down? I don't want you to be taking all the attention. We've got things to do. We have tasks to do. That's the energy of the year, is that Pluto going into, Saturn going into Capricorn saying, time to buckle down. Leo, you're not going to have as much fun because of Saturn. I'm sorry to say, 2.5 years, it's about your work, it's about your health. Capricorn is your joints, and in conjunct to your sun or possibly Mercury in your chart, just be careful of heart issues. And Leo has a big, big heart, so they tend to have heart issues when they have negative aspects. So we've got that. And then Leo energy, you have Mercury going in your sign from the 30th of June through September 7th. That's a pretty good long time. So all of August, or all of July, all of August. So that's probably a retrograde. Let me see. Yes, there's a retrograde in your sign in the middle of that, which means that you're going to have to rethink some of the way you create, the way you express. Obviously, Mercury is our expression, our thought processes, and when it retrogrades, we're going to get ourselves in trouble by trying to take too much of the attention, maybe being more arrogant and not listening to others. So those are your lessons. I would say Mercury retrograde, do your best to listen, and that will really help you. And then let me see here. What else do we have in your sign? I want to give you something positive to look forward to. Even though Mars is in Aquarius and retrograde the middle part of the year, there is a synergy going on with that, and that falls in your marriage and partnership. So if you're not married, Mars falling into that house, it's in May. Let me see, May 17th will be in there through, well, it retrogrades on the 25th of June. So if you're writing down, write that down. And it goes back direct on the 27th of August and is in the last degrees of Capricorn, again, wrapping up the stories around the work environment, and then getting back into your house of marriage and partnership in September. And so that'll be really good for you. It'll be pretty much all the way through mid-November, almost into the rest of the year. So you will have a few really good months around. It's actually a really good energy because Aquarius is spontaneous and excitable and actually charming. So if you're looking to meet a partner, I've got chills for you with that. Look for the middle of the year, and then with possible having to do a little bit more work towards the end of the summer. And then the end of the year again is going to be really good for you for romance and something unexpected coming in for you. So that's awesome. How are we doing on time? Okay, I'm run over today, of course. I have no choice. I have 20 minutes, so let's try and get here. And I'm just going to take a quick sip of water. Hold on. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's see. Virgo. Okay, the earth signs are going to be doing a little bit better, and I know, Virgo, you're really excited for that because I'm a Virgo, and I'm excited for that because it's been a long, dry spell. But this year, of course, May 15th, I'm so looking forward to that, Uranus moving into Taurus. It's going to be going into Earth energy, which trines all of the Virgo. And, of course, Saturn just went into Capricorn. So we are going to experience the grand trine going on. All Earth signs will get, I shouldn't say all Earth signs, the early degrees of your sign, your sun sign, are going to get that grand trine energy of Earth this year. And that means that you're a very practical group and you want to be very tangible. Like I said, Virgo needs to see things. All the earth signs are much more about tradition, old school, paper, writing, having it real. And we want people to follow through with what they say. We want to have everything, like if it's this way and you say it's this way, then it's going to be that way. You've got to follow through. You've got to be on time. If you say you're going to be on time, you got to fulfill your promises. So it can be a little stick in the mud, not going to lie, but it also means that it's reliable. And the only thing that from now until May, it'll be reliable. But Uranus, of course, is going into Earth sign, and Uranus is not reliable. Uranus is quantum. He wants to give us new ways of looking at things and thinking of things. And he's also very entrepreneurial. So, Virgo, you are going to have the entrepreneurial spirit coming in. And if you want to get with friends, let me see here. I'm just going to, oh, no, I take it back. Well, friends are an issue in itself, and I'll get to that in a minute. But let me see where it falls. So it falls up in travel. And Taurus energy, for Virgo, Taurus energy rules your house of travel and higher education and understanding. So you can be a teacher. Well, you're already a teacher. Virgo's a teacher. But in the house of higher education with an earth energy, you're here to not only teach, but also learn about money. And you have certain ideas, but Virgos can be very restrictive and a little bit frugal around money because it's again, the earth signs, they're very aware of money and monetary systems, which may not always seem the case if there are other planets in your chart. I know I have other planets that make me not seem as frugal as I know I am inside, but it means that you're going to find new ways of expression around money in education. So you could teach online, you could bring stuff in. It's really about, and honestly, it can be a retail endeavor online that can bring you more income. And that's honestly, even me talking to me, that's a really great thing to know about. So if you're thinking of getting that course, there are plenty of places out there, Skillshare, Teachable, etc. You can do that. And then also we have the friendship house, like I said, Pluto, Saturn are in Capricorn in your house of friends. That means you're starting to realize that maybe you give a little too much to friends all the time and you're not actually finding time to create the things you want to and spend more alone time. And I can tell you Virgos are really big on alone time. You need the alone time. Having Leo house energy is very connected to other people, and I can say for myself, I am a person who puts other people and friends first most of the time. And I even yesterday I spent the day juggling all of my friends and getting them together, and then helping my friend in her restaurant to help serve my other friends who I brought to her restaurant to help her restaurant. So that's kind of a personification or an example of how this energy can express. But it's about career and finding the creative thing that you want to bring to life. So this is your year for that. You're learning, you're growing, you're going to find money from unusual sources. You're going to maybe find investment from foreign places. So look to that. And then Virgo, you are going to be a little bit, got Jupiter. Jupiter is in your house of expression. So it's more emotional. It's very passionate and truthful, and you're trying to find a way to express a deeper inner truth. And also writing. It's a good year to get those writing projects done. So from the September 7th through the 23rd, Mercury is in your sign, and that's going to be even more projects in work and career. And then structure of love, kids, education, and creativity is the energy of your year. So moving on to Libra. Libra. They are the lovers of the Zodiac. They love love. And having Uranus, which is naturally an air energy, it is the planet that rules Aquarius, which is in trine aspect to Libra, go into Taurus, is kind of double-edged sword. Taurus is ruled also by Venus, but it is in 150-degree negative aspect to Libra. So this energy is going to really give you a run for your money around how you express in the tangible world. Because Libra is an air sign, it is about ideas and concepts. So having a cooperative planet, Uranus, move into the tangible sign of Taurus, it's really going to challenge you to stop just having the idea, but do something about it. And honestly, Uranus and Taurus is about getting those ideas to the market. For you, that falls in your house of joint finances. So this is where you can come up with new and creative things and ways of looking at your joint finances in your partnership, your marriage, and your home and family life. You also have the Earth energy of Pluto and Saturn in home and family. So it is about kind of going back and being more about family and parents, the elderly. You're going to really connect in with the energy of tradition around the home this year and for the next couple years. Again, there is a shift. Pluto is wanting you to change your ideology and understand how you are kind of giving a lot away to family members, and you do need to start looking at it's not always them that is telling you, or it's not always them who are responsible for the fact that they can't do things. It is you're taking all the ownership of what's going on. And I know she's listening, but I have a friend who's a Libra who does that with her daughter. It's like, no, take the task. And you have to be a little looser. That's what Pluto in Capricorn is trying to get you to understand before it goes to Aquarius, is that it's not always about the dogma. You have to let go of your beliefs, because I can tell you, Pluto going into Aquarius is going to be a big wake-up call for a lot of the Capricorn energy. It doesn't work the way we think it should. The earth signs want, like I said, everything to be very literal. It's not going to be literal the way you think it should. It's not going to be predictable. You're going to see that there's going to be shifts and changes that will be out of nowhere, and you're going to have to adjust. You're going to have to be flexible. So, but that, with that said, you got a lot of the more, well, at least for the next year and a half to 2 years, it's going to be about really that structure that is predictable. That's what Saturn in Capricorn does. It wants the predictability. It wants the organized life. And it's probably going to get stronger before it shifts. And I'm going to just let everybody know, Saturn in the first 15, 20 degrees of Pluto is going to be very dogmatic. It's going to say, no, this is the way it's always been. This is the way it should be. And what's going to give it a run for the money is Uranus in Taurus, trining it. So that will bring in some of that expression and unique quality, which will ease that dogmatic mentality into the next decade, which we're all going to have. Okay, your Mercury in Libra is September 23rd through October 11th. Again, in alignment with your sun sign. And I think I kind of touched on everything I wanted to with that. I'm going to try and figure out how I'm going to get to the end of these signs here. I'm over time, but I've got about 10 minutes before they cut me off. So I'm going to really try and be succinct. So Scorpio, of course, this is a great year for you, Scorpio, because obviously Jupiter in your sign. The only thing is, of course, when Jupiter goes retrograde in the middle of the year, and I keep saying it, let me see, did I put the dates down? Yeah, mid-April through mid-September, that time frame, you're going to be a little bit more practical. I've got this energy literally in my first house, so I can tell you when that time comes. You're going to be hearing about it on the podcast. Yeah, Jupiter, it's expanding that energy around the hidden, the logical. What is your value? This is a big, big year of finding your value, having faith in your value, not being caught up in what other people think of you. And then, of course, during the retrograde, you're probably going to have the self-doubt, but it is Jupiter, Scorpios, and that means that Jupiter's in your sign, and that is fortune. So don't you let it get to you in the middle of the year, okay? We're not going to let it get to us. So it is about taxes and legalities, and I'm going to tell you, Jupiter through Scorpio this year will give you a bit of trying time in the middle of the year, but you are going to end up on top. And I'll tell you what the reward is. The reward is Scorpio goes into Sagittarius in November, and that's your house of money. So you're going to have a good end of the year. It's going to be financially awesome. You're going to get to travel. You're going to have love coming in. I don't know if they're necessarily going to be someone you'll stay with forever because it is Sagittarius, but you're going to have a lot of the fortune coming in. Let's see here. Saturn. Saturn falls in your house of communications. That is getting that book out. And that's a message to myself again. Get the book out. Write your truth. Write it down. It's tangible. Also, clear out thinking that doesn't support you. You have to really evaluate those belief systems. And it is around career. It's around father figures, authority figures, and I can testify, this is true, I have a Scorpio rising. It is father figures and authority figures that hold you back from what you know you can do. And don't let somebody, a parent or a boss, say, you're not good enough. I just was at my Buddhist meeting yesterday, and there was an experience of a young woman who was like, I ran this store, and my boss, I'm doing great. I was number 4 in the company, and then they changed bosses, and my boss started belittling me and undermining me and telling me I was bad and wouldn't give me what the other boss gave me. So I quit, and now she's in another job where they value her. So it is about feeling you are valuable. That's the Scorpio lesson in life. And Saturn is career. Saturn's ownership. Own your voice. This is your year for it. Sagittarius. Let me see. Scorpio, you've got Mercury. Where's your Mercury this year? It's probably going to be around your sun. Isn't it funny how I start out so sincere and organized? Very wild. I am a wild woman at the end of this, trying to take it all in. Okay, so the month of October, Mercury is in your sign. So you're going to be able to be much more expressive emotionally during October. And you know what? It's the month of the goblins and ghoulies, and it's awesome. It's November. It's Scorpio. So have fun during Halloween this coming year. Okay, Sagittarius, your sign, of course, your planet is in, and I want to add Scorpio too. Pluto is your planet, your ruling planet, so it's in the house of communication. So it's big for you to get those words out, get those books out. Okay. Sagittarius, Pluto is in your second house, which it has been, since 2007, 2008. Saturn is there now. This is really, Sagittarius does not want to stop long enough to do anything, but they have Capricorn in the house of money, and I can tell you, Sagittarius rules pilots, and they make money. Usually, I should say, unless you're working for a cheaper airline. But that energy, that fortune is there, and they're very laissez-faire about how things come in, and they can just move from one thing to another, which gives them, they don't worry about the details, and they don't worry. So Capricorn is in the house of money. There is a bit of worry, especially since your sign got hit in the finances during the Pluto into Capricorn 2007. now we have Saturn there. So honestly, this is about shoring up the bank, shoring up the money and the finances. And for the next 2 years, it's probably going to be a bit tight and you're going to pull in the reins. But I can tell you when it joins up with Pluto, the truth comes out, your truth, your personal truth, and you're going to make that shift that you need to make. And it's about learning how to do the hard tasks and to actually take ownership of your finances. That's what you're doing in the next 2.5 years, big time. And let's see what we've got. Travel is going to be probably a little more restricted, but it's also about relationship with you because the second house, again, is money and love. So the actual relationship may be taking a hit right now, but it's because it's shoring it up. And I want to tell everybody, it's not just about everything's falling apart. I am convinced with Jupiter and Scorpio this year in my first house, when things appear to be falling apart, they're actually falling together. Write that down because that's true, very true. Jupiter is in your 12th house, Sagittarius, and the deep psychological things are coming out. You may feel a little emotionally bipolar. I'm not going to lie because that's what Scorpio does. It pulls you to the black and white, but you're more definitive. You're more decisive. That's what we can do. You've been a little bit in what you want to do with the people you know around your job, your school group. You're going to be much more clear about it. You're going to be like, I can't do this anymore. I need to have this and that happen. Jupiter, again, it rules Sagittarius, which is very free and optimistic. It's in the sign of kind of depression and dark and serious. So you're really going into the ski next year. And so it's not necessarily a bad year for you because Jupiter and Saturn are going to be in positive aspect, and that's for everybody. You're going to actually be working on building a stronger sense of what's right in your life and going in the path you need to go in. But for Sagittarius, who doesn't really want to dig deep and into the heart of the matter, that's what you're going to be doing. And it's about the psychology of the value, your own value, and how you express emotionally, and also about the tangibles, about your finances. And those two are working together. Value, personal value, joint finances value of how you see yourself, and value of the materials around you. So you've got Mercury in, oh my God, am I going to run out of time? I hope not. I will actually, if I do run out of time, I will record a separate podcast for the rest of them, and I will post that. So look for it. If I don't get to the rest and I get cut off, I will do that, and I will listen in after I put this up and make sure that I have I've got that for you. I'm not going to leave you hanging. So, okay, see, Sagittarius, your Mercury is in November, and again, it's the last retrograde, fire sign retrograde in Mercury this year. So you're going to feel it through November. If you are a pilot, because Sagittarius rules pilots and musicians really strongly, and comedians and educators, that's going to be a bit of a difficult time around Thanksgiving for you. So if you're an educator, look to have issues. And I want to say for everyone this year, probably going to have some transportation issues, especially flying. If you cannot fly during Thanksgiving week, I would recommend it. Okay, Capricorn. What can I say? Saturn's in your first house. You are all about the organization of things and the structure and the dogma. And, you can be a bit fearful, but now this is the time to own it. You're going to have to own everything that you are. You are the boss. You are credible. You're the one in charge. And you're probably going to get promotions. You're probably going to get more work. You're probably going to have those opportunities come in, and people are recognizing that they really want the structure and they want it to be stable and there for them. They want stability for the next couple of years because it's been really chaotic. That being said, Uranus into Taurus, so that's going to be trining your energy this year, and that falls into your house of friends. So you're going to let loose of some of that dogma, actually start to embrace people of other styles and other ways of looking at life, and they'll get closer to you. Your children may actually be a little bit chaotic or unexpected this year. They're going to be doing things that you don't necessarily expect, but at the same time, be careful. You don't want children. Unexpected pregnancies are there for you. Fertility, Taurus rules your house of children, and you can get pregnant if you're childbearing age. So just be more cautious. And anytime there are planets moving through the early part of Taurus, so Sun, which is of course May. May is a good time if you want to get pregnant. You could find yourself that way, but it is also planting seeds, growing things, creative aspects, doing paintings. Definitely express yourself creatively this year. Jupiter is in your 11th house, so it is about deeper issues involving who you hang out with, your soul group, the people that you want to connect to. Money from career is big for you. Having Jupiter in the house of Aquarius, the natural house of Aquarius, is going to bring a lot of unexpected opportunities for growth, for probably money from a career, and new friends. You got a big year of new friends, so congratulations to you. And then Mercury goes to your house, so again, thinking those Capricornian thoughts and speaking truthfully, also literally and truthfully. So that's also going to affect everybody when Mercury gets into Capricorn. But guess what? I think it's happening now. Let me look back. Mercury's in Capricorn, January 12th through the end of the month, through the 1st of February. So speaking literally, expecting people to walk their talk. And then we have Aquarius. We got 2 signs left, and I'm hustling. Aquarius is, of course, going to be very affected by Uranus going into Taurus, because not only is it a shift for its ruling sign, which means that you're going to have to pay attention to Venus. Now you're ruled by Venus, which rules Taurus, so you're going to be answering to Venus, the goddess of love and money, and growth, and also food. This is also for you about where does it fall? It falls in your house of home and family. You could be growing more of your own food, alternative ways of thinking, ways of dealing with children and your family, your parents. You're really on your game. You're knowing money and maybe doing some type of home investment or retail out of the home would be good for you. And entrepreneurial endeavors out of the home. And then you've got Saturn in your 12th house. So you are spending more time with grandparents or parent figures. And deep down inside, you are a leader. You are a boss, and you know it. So that's coming in. Mars in Aquarius this year, house. And that falls, what did I say that was? Mars, where are you? Venus is in Aquarius in January, second half of January, so that's awesome. You're going to be lighting up the love events there. And then we've got Mars going in. Mars, man, I could talk so much about everyone. May. The month of May and June, you're going to have Mars right there, so you're going to have a lot of positive things coming to you. It is about being a spotlight to some degree, because and that's also true for Capricorn. Capricorns are going to be in the spotlight because they're the bosses. And then Uranus and Aquarius, you're going to have a lot of ideas and the inventions. You're the tech people. You're Silicon Valley. You're the Sheldons of the world, and that's going to be really popular this year too, especially over summer. Technology is huge. It's all about, for you, it's going to be about getting those ideas out into the marketplace, and family, and doing them out of the home. Home business is really awesome, and you're always that way anyway. You're always whatever the alternate is. Pisces, Neptune is going to still continue to rule you for the next probably decade, because Neptune is in your sign. So you've got Neptune in your first house. Watch for the retrogrades this year. That is, let me see if I got it here. Oh, no, it is farther down. Sorry. Now I'll just go to my retrograde cheat sheet. Neptune retrogrades the middle of June through the middle of November. So always Thanksgiving is better because it's much more warm and fuzzy for you. And Jupiter for you, very fortunate energy for you in education, expansion, awareness, learning new spiritual things. If you want to get into a new church or go for a trip, like I always say Machu Picchu or Sedona, or go any place in the world that has strong connection to spirituality, that's really big for you. You're going to be much more practical about the people you hang out with, you have to stop taking over for everybody also, and especially if you're in a career where the people around you, your coworkers in your career, you are the one that they always go to, and you are taking over more than your fair share of the responsibility for what's going on. And it can also change. And I want to say, Aquarius, you also have a change coming in career. Pisces, you have some opportunities for career and to be more independent, and you can be independent on your own this year. So Mercury, where's Mercury for you? Mercury falls, I think it's also earlier in the year for you as well. Yeah, it's the month of February. So you got the Sun and Mercury in your sign in February. So that's going to be a really positive, supportive time for you. It's very intuitive. You're going to really key in. And the Uranus in Taurus falls in your house of communications. So that's going to be, again, it's going to be about teaching around money. You can be potentially learning about money. But boy, Uranus in your third house of the Gemini house is really, you are spot on entrepreneurial and with money this year. You are keyed in intuitively. So that's going to be a really strong thing for you. Also, water energy and earth energy are good for water signs here. So if you're water or earth, that's half the zodiac. So it is Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces. So if you're any of those signs, this year is going to be really about getting things squared away. Actually, a lot of fortune for you, and then especially the water energy. But yeah, both of them, and it is much more of a water earth year for you. And then the fire air, it is about learning about water and earth. It's learning about how to be in your emotions, learning about how to be truthful and follow through, which is really hard for the fire signs. I know it's not about follow through. I mean, because they definitely do things, but it's more about what are the results of those actions. So anyway, thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to spending 2018 with you, and that's the show for this week. Tune in again if you would like to have a reading. Please do look me up at astrologerangel.com. Thank you. Bye. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com. To subscribe, please click the picture of Shelley on the right or the red button below.